This is Pedro Gonzales. He refuses to kill zombies. That's right, no weapons, no shooting, no bloodshed. The question is, can he survive 100 days in a world full of the undead, with high population and rare loot? Well, here we are in Rosewood, and fortunately he spawned in a fairly isolated house. A perfect little hideout to get started. First things first, Pedro's gonna have to let his guns and ammo go. Instead, it's time to see what he can find around the house. Rummaging through drawers, shelves, and cupboards, he scavenges for anything that might come in handy. By the bedroom shelf, he grabs a hiking bag, which is perfect for hauling supplies. A quick check, and he also finds a crowbar, which might come in handy for prying open doors and locked cars. He's also got a kick-ass basement, which could be useful in the coming days. After picking up essentials like a flashlight and a hammer, Pedro heads out to the neighboring house on the hunt for food, and oddly enough, a watch. Inside the house, he starts looting, but it's not all calm exploration. While he's looting, he hears a discreet shuffle from the next room. A zombie. His first encounter. He shoves it down and rushes out. Undeterred, Pedro moves on and checking the rest of the house. Including the basement, he's on the lookout for anything substantial for his journey. Supplies, tools, anything that will help him last the long haul without ever raising a weapon. After sprinting over to the next house, Pedro cuts through the backyard, only to spot a whole group of zombies wandering just a few meters away. He immediately shifts course, slipping around to the quieter side of the house where it's safer to move. Inside, he makes a quick sweep and actually finds a skill book and a magazine, but just as he steps into the master bedroom, the zombies outside pick up the noise and Pedro bolts. He rushes out the other side of the street and heads toward another residence, hoping this one isn't crawling with anything that growls. While moving between houses, Pedro eventually gets spotted. A couple of zombies lock onto him and the chase is on. He sprints through backyards, cuts corners, and finally ducks behind a fence. Only then does he sneak his way back toward his home base. Before wrapping up day one, Pedro settles into a little routine, reading through skill books, filling his stomach and quenching his thirst, tidying up the place, and, of course, admiring his growing collection of action figures. With no watch yet, he has zero idea what time it is, but exhaustion kicks in, and he decides it's finally safe enough to sleep. Day 2 starts off rough. Pedro jolts awake from night terrors, not exactly the best way to begin a pacifist apocalypse journey. After catching his breath, he peeks through the sheet he set up over the door, checking if the front yard is clear. He washes his face, downs a banana for breakfast, and tries to shake the lingering fear from that nightmare. Then it's time to head out, quietly, slowly, hoping today goes better than last night. Once Pedro's feeling a bit more human, he sets off. After a few minutes of wandering, he stumbles onto this fenced-off place with labeled trailers. Store a Max. 2 cars parked outside. Looks promising. He sneaks nearby one of the trailers and boom, Zeds inside catch him completely off guard. Pedro does the only thing he can do. Run. He checks the cars while circling around and yeah, he could hotwire them easily. But one loud engine in this area, that's a horde magnet. He moves away from the yard and plans to come back after a few days with gas. He logs 2 rundown cars on his map, then follows the nearby road for a solid 10 minutes before finding an oddly quiet house. Inside, he manages to snag 2 canned foods before a zombie notices him. Next thing you know, Pedro's sprinting back to base with lunch in his backpack. Day 3 starts simple. Pedro wakes up and heads straight for the garage and basement, praying he left a saw somewhere for base fortification. Turns out he didn't, so plan B. He goes on another loot run through the nearby houses. He slips into the forested areas near the neighbors, trying to stay hidden. Zombies wander the streets, so he cuts through the trees where the branches and shadows give him just enough cover to move quietly. He pushes further north, past the store a Max yard, hoping the houses up there are a little quieter. And while he doesn't find much in terms of survival gear, he does find something important. A Freddy Fazbear collectible. He moves on to the garage and he finds nuts, bolts, and metal sheets, perfect for welding and future repairs. But that's where things get messy. He runs into not 1, but 3 roaming groups of zombies. Somehow he manages to loot the second house clean, grabbing a trait magazine and 2 alarm clocks, super useful for baiting hordes later on. By the third house, he spots a lone zombie banging from inside. Pedro panics for a second, then shoves it into the front lawn and he grabs whatever food he can find before slipping out the back door and making a break for home. The walk back is slow, tense, and way longer than it needs to be. Every rustle in the forest makes him flinch. Every snapped twig feels like a zombie 2 steps behind him. But eventually, he makes it. Back at base, Pedro finally gets a breather. He reads the magazine he found, organizes his new collectibles, and tries to settle down for the night. Just before he sleeps, he starts reading a skill book. A quiet night. Or so he thinks. A few pages in, he hears something. He freezes. Listens. Those footsteps, they're too heavy.